right, it is Friday, and today we're going to be reading chapters 14, 15, and 16. Today we're going to be making predictions as our reading skill that we're focusing on. And it says, Bradley has a habit of lying to those around him. How do you predict this will impact as the story continues? How will his lying play out in the story as the story continues? Do you think it will continue to work? His lying, will it continue to work? Why or why not? So how do you predict that his lying will impact him as the story continues? Now that he's met Carla, now that he has a new friend, how do you think it's going to continue to play out in the story? Do you think it will continue to work? Why or why not? Okay, all right, let's find out. There's a boy in the girls' bathroom, chapter 14. Homework. After school, Bradley Chalkers was going to go to Jeff Fishkin's house, and they were going to do their homework together. Bradley couldn't believe it. Homework. It was all he thought about as he sat at his desk, last seat, last row, and waited for school to end. Maybe it won't be too horrible, he reasoned. After all, Jeff always does his homework. He must like it. The more he thought about it, the more he liked the idea. Homework. Work you do at home. Except he wouldn't do it at his home. He would do it at Jeff's home. And that was even better. It would be his first time over at Jeff's house. And after he did his homework, Mrs. Ebel might give him a gold star. Instead of scribbling, he drew little stars, one after another, until the bell rang. But first, they had to beat up those girls. Come on, let's go, he said, hopping out of his seat. Just a second, said Jeff. He got a book from his desk. Oh, do I need one of those? Bradley asked. He hadn't realized that in order to do his homework, he would need to bring his book home. That's okay, we can share mine. They walked outside. There was a light drizzle. They're in Miss Sharp's class, said Bradley. We can wait here until they come out, then sneak up behind them. Who? Those girls. We have to beat them up so they won't say hello to you. We should probably get started on our homework right away, said Jeff. It won't take long, Bradley assured him. You just have to hit them once and they cry and run away. But it's raining, said Jeff. It was barely misting. Good. We can push them in the mud and get their clothes dirty. Girls hate it when their clothes get dirty. They stood about 10 yards away from Miss Sharp's door and waited. Several kids came out, but they didn't see Colleen, Lori, or Melinda. Maybe they've already gone home, Jeff said, hopefully. No, girls take a long time to leave class, Bradley explained. First, they have to put their papers neatly in their notebooks. Then they have to mark their places in their books and put all their pencils in their pencil holders. Then they put everything away neatly in their desk. He said it as though it was the most disgusting thing anyone could do. Shh, here they come. Melinda, followed by Colleen and Lori, came out of Mrs. Sharp's room. Bradley put his finger to his lips. Then he and Jeff walked after them, keeping their distance. They followed the girls around the side of the building and along the sidewalk away from the school. Let's just go home, said Jeff. The homework might take a little time. Girls kick, warned Bradley. They don't know how to punch, so they try to kick you. He quickened his pace until he was just a few steps behind the girls. Jeff lagged a little behind. Lori was the first to turn around. Ew, Bradley Chalkers, she said, making a face. Lori Loudmouth, snapped Bradley. The ugliest girl in school. Melinda and Colleen stopped walking and turned around too. Grow up, Bradley, said Melinda. Make me, he replied. Hello, Jeff, Colleen said very quietly. Hello, said Jeff. Quit saying hello to him, said Bradley. It's a free country, said Lori. We can say hello. Not to us, said Bradley. We didn't say hello to you, said Lori. Just him. Hello, Jeff. Hello, said Jeff. Lori laughed. Why don't you just leave us alone, Bradley, said Melinda. No, you leave us alone first, said Bradley. And he pushed Melinda. She pushed him back. He pushed her again. She shoved him off the sidewalk. He slipped on the wet grass and fell to the ground. Lori laughed hysterically. Bradley scrambled angrily to his feet. You got my clothes dirty. Bradley wet his pants, teased Lori, hiding behind Melinda. Shut up, he yelled. You started it, said Melinda. I'll punch your face in, said Bradley. He shook his fist at her. Melinda raised her fists in the air. He charged toward her, then kicked her in the leg. She slugged him in the face with all her might. Bradley stumbled backward and almost fell again, but caught his balance. He glared at Melinda. His eyes swelled with tears. "No fair 4 against 1, he shouted. Then ran home, crying. 4 against 1. Melinda? Lori? Colleen? That's 3. Is he saying Jeff was against him too? Oh dear, that can't be good. Okay. "My poor baby," said Bradley's mother as she wrapped her massive arms around him. He had stopped crying shortly after he ran away from Melinda, but started again when he saw his mother. "They beat me up and threw me in the mud," he sobbed. His mother wiped his face with a tissue she kept rolled up in her shirt sleeve. "Come on," she said, and led him by the hand down the hall to the bathroom. "You'll take a nice warm bath, put on clean clothes, and feel as good as new." Claudia was in the bathroom combing her hair. "What happened to him?" "Some bullies picked on him at school." "There were 4 of them," said Bradley, "and they ripped up my homework too." "You've been crying," Claudia accused. "That's the rain," said Bradley. Claudia started to say something, but her mother told her to leave the bathroom. She laid out clean clothes on the bathroom counter. Then she started the water. After his bath, Bradley went into his bedroom. He was just in the nick of time. Ronnie the rabbit was romping across the bed. Now, these are his friends, remember? Singing doo-dee-doo-dee-doo. When suddenly she was lost. "Where am I?" she asked. Suddenly, 3 bad guys were chasing her. They were the 2 of spades, the 9 of hearts, and the king of diamonds. The king of diamonds was the leader of the bad guys. "After her," he yelled. "Help!" called Ronnie. She ran to the edge of the bed. The cliff. She was trapped. The floor was 1,000 feet below. The bad guys moved in for the kill. "Let me go," she shouted, then fell off the bed onto the floor. But that was an accident. Bradley picked her up and put her back on the edge of the bed. It never happened. There was a time out. "What are you going to do to me?" asked Ronnie, trembling on the edge of the cliff. "We're going to eat you," said the king of diamonds. "Oh, no, you're not," said a voice from behind. It was Bartholomew the bear. "Get him, boys," ordered the king of diamonds. The cards attacked. Bartholomew punched the 2 of spades in the stomach, then flipped him over his head and over the cliff. "Ah!" The 2 of spades yelled as he fell 1,000 feet to his death. Next, Bartholomew beat up the 9 of hearts. "Go join your friend," he said, as he threw him over the cliff too. "Ah!" cried the 9. Now only the king of diamonds was left, and he came at Bartholomew swinging an axe. "I'll chop off your head," he sneered. Bartholomew ducked, then kicked the axe out of the king's hand and punched him in the face. He threw the king over the cliff too. Ronnie ran to Bartholomew. "You saved my life," she said. "I know," said Bartholomew. They kissed. Claudia walked into the room. "Mom's making cookies because you got beat up," she said. "Oh, and you're going to have a black eye." "I didn't get beat up," Bradley declared. "I beat them up. I gave one kid 2 black eyes and another boy 3. "You can't give somebody 3 black eyes," said Claudia. "Shut up," said Bradley, "or I'll give you 4 black eyes." Claudia shrugged and left his room. Bradley got up from his bed and went into the kitchen, where his mother was making chocolate chip cookies. She let him lick the spoon. "I want to know the names of the boys who did this to you," she said. "I'm going to call your school principal." Bradley thought for a moment. "I don't know all their names," he said. "Don't be afraid to tell me," said his mother. "They won't hurt you any more." Bradley thought a moment. "Jeff Fishkin," he declared. "He was the leader of the gang." "I'll call the school first thing in the morning," said his mother. "Good," said Bradley. "I hope he gets in trouble. I hate him." That's very interesting. Why would he do that to his new best friend? I hope we find out.